So honestly, this week I was reading the news like,
it's an evil world we live in.
I'm the librarian, and I came to read.
all right, we don't have any time to waste because we have a lot of topics to cover. Let's first talk about this Bow Wow versus Leslie reaction that I saw on Twitter. Apparently, Leslie took some lamp or something and busted him in the face. And, you know, their mugshots were released because they both were arrested. I think Bow Wow was released. Obviously, we can see who the aggressor was. I think we have to be very careful about how we clown and joke. Oh, he got scratched up and shit. I think we have to be very careful because if the tables were turned, we would rightfully be angry at Bow Wow. So I think the issue of domestic violence is already a serious one, but we have to make sure that every angle is covered so that everybody can be protected. Yeah, I haven't really been paying too much attention to Bow Wow and anything that's been going on in his reality TV show life. There have been people saying that, oh, that this relationship was toxic already and they need to stay away from each other. So yeah, it's as I said in the beginning of this video, there's been a lot of news coming out that has made my spirit just crumble. Like Beyonce was singing about sandcastles, girl. We built sandcastles and they're washed away. My spirit's about to be washed away with all this ugly ass news. And speaking about ugly news, girl, we need to talk about 21 Savage. So apparently ICE came after his ass and they detained him. I mean, they're saying that he has to go before immigration courts to go forth with removal proceedings. In other words, they're trying to deport the fuck out of this man. Okay, so apparently he came from the UK, which I thought was so crazy. I did not expect that. I don't know why. I don't know. I did not expect that shit at all. He never said anything. I don't know, girl. He never said anything about that. But that's not the fucking issue. And honestly, it's one thing to be joking. I find it so crazy. It's one thing to be joking about, you know, 21 Savage being British and you not knowing and talk about drinking tea and shit and crumpets and shit. That's one thing. But then this a whole other thing to be joking about ICE. Like, girl, if they did this shit to this man, they said, okay, so the tea was, they said that he got his visa or some shit and in 2006 it expired, so he stayed up until then. Like, he has apparently overstayed. Now, I don't know what's going on because it sounds fishy to me, okay? Because, I mean, the amount of times this man been arrested, that shit never popped up. You know what I mean? Something sounds fishy to me. Something's not right in the water, and y'all can say what y'all want to say, but it's not making no sense. How many times has this man been arrested and y'all did not, nothing flagged in the system, nothing came up? Yeah, somebody lying. Somebody is lying. Did y'all wait until he got all this money and got all this? He's trying to rebuild his community and shit. He talking about financial literacy. He was dragging y'all. Very recently, he was dragging ICE talking about, girl, I can't imagine having kids at the border and shit like that. So I don't know what's going on, but that particular part, I'm not gonna be joking about. And y'all talking about, oh, well, girl, you just need to make sure that you have your identification. You need to make sure that you have your papers. Girl, they walk around, ICE is walking around here saying, y'all falsified that shit. Get in the goddamn truck. What are you talking about? If they can knock on somebody's door like that, they can knock on yours. I think that they're sending a message. I think that they're trying to intimidate. And I especially think that because they made a statement talking about, oh, his whole public persona is false. I'm just like, first of all, sis, you're a government agency. You should be worried about, this is what I said on Twitter, you should be worried about official legal documents, you should be worried about time frames, and you should be worried about evidence, you know what I mean, paperwork, that's it. You don't need to be worried about no public persona. That to me lets me know that y'all are doing this, it's a whole smear campaign. You're trying to discredit him and you're targeting him specifically. So that's not something to joke about. People die in ICE custody, okay? They've been trying to get our asses out of here. Those are my thoughts on the 21 Savage situation. I just think it's all a mess. It's a mess. It's gonna be really quick because I can't take many more stories like this because, okay, Liam Neeson went his ass onto somebody's interview talking about, well, girl, you know, somebody that I was very close to was violated by a black man. And so, you know, I went through this moment in my life. It was about a week. Well, he said I was waiting for a black bastard, and they said that this is what he did in the interview. He put air quotations around it as if this to make it any better. I was waiting for a black bastard so I could kill him. I was just like, whoo, Liam, baby. We didn't need to know that. You didn't need to share that. I promise you didn't need to share that. And you're sharing it like it's just some aha moment. Like you really think you Oprah, sis. When in all actuality, if it was a white person who violated somebody who was close to you, sis, you would not be running around here trying to kill every white man that you see, okay? It's because you view us as subhuman. I promise you, dig deep inside that mentality and think about it. Would you be really over here, if somebody came over here and did something really fucked up and he was white to whoever you was talking about that you was close to, would you be running around here talking about you want to kill all white men? You wouldn't. You was waiting for a white man to kill you? You wouldn't. So, Liam, I want you to sit in that. I feel like I'm in Yala right now. I want you to sit in that and come to terms with it and understand that there's some things that it's okay. You don't have to share with us. Speaking of somebody who also needs to evolve, Ariana says they are on your ass. They are on your ass. And I've been making videos up to this point. I've been sending the signals. I said, Ariana. I said, Ariana. I was like, girl, you are doing a little bit too much every time. I said, Ariana says, I don't know. I'm trying. You were doing too much, and now the shit has finally hit the fan. When you were first being dragged, there were two things that your ass could do: shut the fuck up or go learn something. I would have preferred you do the second one, but since you weren't able to do that, at least could you have done the first? You couldn't. So you kept speaking. People were trying to correct you, and they were basically saying, especially Male Pocahontas, he's on Twitter. He said, "Girl, why are you fronting? If you knew basic Japanese, you would not get barbecue grills tattooed on your goddamn hand. Stop fronting." That's what he said. I was like, oh my God. So people were dragging her, rightfully so. Like, sis, what are you doing? You saying you love this culture, but then you using it as almost like a costume, as a prop. You selling this shit. It's like you profiting off that shit. Like, they were not happy. And instead of coming down and saying, okay, yeah, like that shit was fucked up. I need to go sit my ass down. And you were over here trying to make yourself the victim. Let me put this shit up. This is what somebody said. It's not only about the tattoo. You've been appropriating Japanese culture for so long, blah, blah, blah. And then you were saying, well, girl, I'm gonna stop taking lessons then. It's literally something that brings me joy and I'm passionate about. I legit wanted to move there one day, but all good, have a good one. And it's just like, we should be honored, like Japanese people should be honored that you gave a fuck about their culture. Like, girl, what are you talking about? First, I promise you the Japanese, they're okay. They don't need your ass to move over there. Like, they don't need, I promise you they're okay. All they're asking for is basic decency and respect, and your ass is acting like that is such a huge thing to give them. I don't understand. Ariana, what are you? Then she gonna talk about how she has crippling anxiety, and I was like, ooh, girl, this is not the road that you wanna travel on. All of us are fucked up out here, baby, but please don't use that as an excuse, girl. Don't use that as an excuse to just fall back on after you've been dragged and rightfully called out. Ariana, please do better, at least just zip it. So not too long ago, this video of Cory Booker went viral.
Do you believe that Donald Trump is a racist?
I don't know the heart of anybody. I'll leave that to the Lord. I know there are a lot of people who profess the ideology of white supremacy that use his words.
Okay, he was asked a simple question: do you think Donald Trump is racist? The one and only answer is yes. The one and only answer is yes. But he was beating around the bush. Okay, he was beating around the bush like he was somebody's gardener. But in all actuality, gardeners don't do that shit. They will weed that shit up and cut the bush down. If there are weeds in the garden, they're going to take it out. So not even a gardener. I don't know the heart of anybody. Oh, I'm just gonna leave that to the Lord. And I said on Twitter, y'all left a lot of shit to the Lord, and that's why our planet is the capitalistic death trap that it is. I want y'all to grow a goddamn backbone. Maybe Cory does not want to piss off his donors. That's what it's giving me. He's talking about he don't know the heart of anybody when he can clearly see the actions, when he can clearly hear the words. So this to me tells me already that you are not up for the task of this shit, because we gonna need somebody with as much power behind their tongue as Donald Trump does, and with truly progressive stances, because we won't get anywhere trying to kiss anybody's ass. So this was supremely disappointing to hear you say. Speaking of things that were supremely disappointing, not only was the Super Bowl, I'm not calling it the Super Bowl anymore, I'm gonna call it the Super Bowl because it was a Super Bowl movement that happened on that stage. Not only was the Super Bowl movement disappointing, but also this Virginia governor, his name is Ralph Northam. There were a bunch of racist images of him, or allegedly him, that hit the news waves, they hit media. They came from his old yearbook, and he made these excruciatingly awkward and painful to watch as PR statements, if you can call them that, to try and correct it. One day that is him in the photo. He don't know if he's the one in blackface or the KKK hood. He don't know. Or then it wasn't him at that particular time. I'm just like, girl, what? What are you doing? And then he went on, I mean, in front of cameras and everything, talking about, oh, well, girl, actually, I just used some shoe polish to darken my skin because I like that one singer. What's this what he said?
I dressed up in a what's his name? The singer? Michael Jackson, excuse me. That's why I have Pam with me.
What's his name? Michael Jackson. I'm like, sis, the most fundamental nigga in music, Michael Jackson, you don't even know his name and you trying to tell me that your ass was dressing up for it? Girl, I'm not going to buy it. There are so many people wrong in this next situation. The reporter asked him, well, do you know Michael Jackson? Can you moonwalk? And this man literally was about to moonwalk in front of all these motherfucking cameras. Look.
Dance competition?
Yes.
And it was that you danced the moonwalk?
That's right.
Are you still able to moonwalk?
Inappropriate circumstances.
My wife says inappropriate circumstances.
I said, girl, we got to go. Get me off the planet. Get me off the planet. Get me off the planet. It was a lot of people talking about, oh, well, girl, he Democrat. What y'all gonna say now? Like, girl, we're gonna drag the shit out of him. What do y'all think? Like, just because these niggas Democrats, we're going to drag the shit out there. And that's exactly what happened. They're saying resign, resign. Everybody's saying resign. He's trying to hold on to that shit. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last because I just looked it up just now and they have found even more pictures. So he needs to just back away slowly from the governor's office. Just put your hands up. Put your hands where I can see him. Back away from the governor's position. And since we talked about a lot of trash in this video, I want to go ahead and end it on a cute note. Miss Ellen Page, she went on to Stephen Colbert and she was just saying, I'm tired of the hate.
Connect the dots. This is what happens. If you are in a position of power and you hate people and you want to cause suffering to them, you go through the trouble. You spend your career trying to cause suffering. What do you think is going to happen? Kids are going to be abused and they're going to kill themselves. And people are going to be beaten on the street. This needs to stop.
If you are not aware, Ellen Page is very vocal. She has done a lot of work when it comes to not only the LGBT community, but a lot of marginalized communities. She's serious about this shit. Like, I think she had a show where she traveled the world and shit. She investigated the issue. I'm very happy that her and people like her use their voices to make statements like that, and they're visibly like shook and bothered by what's going on in the world. I hope more and more people do that and bring attention to the very issues that keep us marginalized and keep us fucked up. On that note, I love you guys so much. My Adrian Army. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to support me on all platforms so that I can continue doing what I'm doing, and make sure you have a good goddamn evening.